Okay. So this gives you more AP. Okay. I think I'm gonna do that. Yeah, that way I can work my way over to Action Boy. I can max out Action Boy. Alright. Hunter hunted. No. Dude, if I shot that right there, I'd kill them. Oh, I meant like this. Oh, last episode, it's lucky we got a freaking combat shotgun that is explosive, which that is one of the best guns in the game. It wasn't doing as much damage as I thought it was gonna do last stream. So hopefully, I was like hitting really bad shots that. F Zodiac Signs. Which Pip-Boy do you like? I like this one. This is my favorite Pip-Boy. Pretty sure if I rank up again, I'm gonna get, yes, I can get Grim Reaper Sprint 3, which gives me a 1 in 3 chance of restoring my action points and a critical meter. You know what I like about the combat shotgun when it gets explosive? You do this. Shit, that won't work. Ooh, Oh, me.
Hey.
You know what I'm thinking of in my cheat world? Oh, that scared me. In my cheat world, I never got like the really strong combat music. Probably because I was high level and it'll never play. They can only play when you're in contact with an enemy higher level than you, like really, really higher level than you.
Hey.
My music is not playing. Because of that. I think I know exactly where we need to go. Get to a courser and blow its brains out. Mm-mm. Yeah, it's at this building.
Hey, see if he had anything worth taking.
Enforcers on the second floor. Kill on site. Send reinforcements to the lobby in case there are more.
Didn't even see him anything more than his arm.
Down there. How many are we dealing with? The Corsair is now on the third floor. Report to the second.
Nice.
Near the courtyard.
You can't actually get in this building before this quest. You have to do this quest to get in. It'll look like it's like all caved in. The entrance will, and then you can actually go in after the quest activates. You just gotta not kill yourself. Holy shit, that guy is legendary. Sorry.
Hey,
That song, this song that's playing right now reminds me of a game called Botanicula. There's like in Botanicula you can play. It's like this like game about nature. And there's one part underground, and that's what this song reminds me of. You have to be very quick. Bitch. These guys are probably dying quickly because they're very weak, low-level gunners.
Barricades, stairwells, and hallways if you haven't already.
No! Man, this gun is so evil, too.
Hey, go check that out. Wait there.
We've lost contact with sectors 2 and 4.
Sweet.
Hmm.
Got it.
That is so sneaky. I probably died to that when I was a noob, but I couldn't tell you because I can't remember. Oh, wait. Only thing I like doing is exploding, launching shit. Hmm. Okay, where is this robot? It probably died on accident.
Heads up.
Okay, wait, you gotta watch this shit, because I have a gun that shoots bullets, but they're explosive. Usually it's supposed to be like a little cute effect, but the problem is that this is a shotgun, and it makes... like, what's it called? Since it has 7 pellets, each one of the pellets does 15 damage, and it's effectively better than 2-shot. So here's what it looks like. Those bullets will explode and usually cripple the enemy.
Look alive. Come on.
Ready for this? This bitch's about to get blasted. You get some. If they're coming at you like that, you shoot behind. You take all their limbs off. That is hilarious.
Look alive.
Dude, what if this effect right here was on a Gatling laser? If it was like per shot. Hmm? How did I not see that?
Fall back to original position. The courser's near the elevator.
Dude.
Hey, grab anything useful. Check it out. See if there's anything there. Take anything good. Grab that. Get that. Pick that up. Hey. Take that. See if you had anything worth taking. Grab anything useful. Check it out. See if there's anything there. Hey. Grab that. Heads up. Get that pistol. Grab that gun over there. Heads up. See if she had anything. Take anything good. Get that. Pick that up. Take that.
Dude, look at the position of that TV, dude. If you're like, look at that. You're typing and that thing is like right up in your face. The proportions of that, it's stupid. Like stupid bad.
Look alive. Grab that. Take that weapon.
Oh.
Courser girl. Anyone alive needs to get us to the top floor immediately. That's an order.
Hey, see if she had anything. Grab anything useful. Hey, Check it out.
I want to see if they can go through the door.
Head, check it out. Over here. Move here.
I'm on it.
Yes.
Ooh.
That's it.
Oh my goodness. I can XP squeeze the hell out of this room. It's actually really nice. I use XP squeeze this room. No dads. Let's wreck these assads. You just don't know when to learn.
Heads up.
There you are. About time you showed up.
See if you had anything worth taking. See if there's anything there. Get that. Take anything good. Pick that up.
Stupid lights.
Look alive. Take that.
Please. Work on it.
See if you had anything worth taking. Grab anything useful. Check it out. See if there's anything there. Take anything good. Grab that. Get that. Pick that up. Take that. Hey, see if you had anything worth taking. Grab anything useful. Check it out. See if there's anything there.
Good. We're about to roast this guy. I'm about to absolutely destroy. I need a wrench. Hi, friend. Really? Uh-oh.
All he had to do was tell me the password. Are you going to cooperate? Oh, no. Yeah. Okay. Just don't shoot. Let me think. I'm going to. It's just a matter of time. Now you can pass it.
Hey. Grab that. Hi.
Are you here for the synth?
I'm here to pick up an order. 2 large pepperoni and a calzone. Name is Fuck You.
If you're not here for the synth,
I need what's in.
that you cannot have.
Bam! Man. Bitch! Get curb stomped, dumb bitch. It's Wasteland. All morals go out the window once the nukes drop. Oh, this. Not bad to actually have. What's the side of one of these look like? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to I might have to censor that out, guys. I didn't mean. Yeah, I might have to censor that out. I'm sorry. Improved. Targeting agitated, improved, automatic institute pistol. Oh my goodness. That's like the names of Amazon products, my guy. Like when they try to slap as many freaking, like, prefixes as they can.
Look up here. Get that pistol. Get that. That's it.
That's a fusion core.
Hey. Heads up. Pick that up.
Oh, yeah, right. Forgot you exist. What if there's two gunners? Not you.
Get away from me.
I'm gonna, hey, knock this door down. I will spare you, okay? Spare you from the burden. The burden of living. There you go. Yeah, sturdy. No, yes, sturdy.
Look alive. Take anything good. Take that. See if he had anything worth taking. Grab anything useful. Check it out.
Can you do anything?
Anything there? Grab that. Take anything good. Get that. Pick that up. Take that. Take a look. See if he had anything worth taking. Grab anything useful.
Dude, what is your problem? Take my stuff. Pick this up. You know what?
Hold, check it out. See if there's anything there. Take anything good. Grab that. Get that. Pick that up. Take that.
He trust you.
I promise.
I guess the guard put the password in a toolbox. Use it to gain access to the terminal.
I'm gonna crack this bad boy. I'm gonna XP squeeze the shit out of this. Oh wow, that.
Excuse me.
Thank you. I don't know what to say.
Don't say anything. Just get out of here.
Thanks again for your help. I'm gonna look for supplies.
Heads up. See if he had anything worth taking. Grab anything useful. Check it out. See if there's anything there. Take anything good.
Holy shit, there's a fat man.
Look alive. Terminal's got this locked. Grab that. Take that weapon. Get that. Pick that up. Gotta find the terminal.
Yeah, bow on me. Stop it. Bitches. Peasants. Goodness gracious, my freaking drift is...
Head over there. Take that. Grab it. See if there's anything there. Take anything good. Go there. Grab that. Get that.
Please stop drifting. Yes, Nuka-Cola. Really? The other door wasn't enough? I could have just hopped down on my power armor. Top 10 worst vaults. Oh my goodness, that's what FAK means. F-A-K. First aid kit. Oh my goodness. I was getting advertised first aid kits. Like the one I bought. I don't want to mess with those. Not because I can't kill them. I can wipe the freaking floors with them. It's the only reason I'm not picking on them. So I don't really have too much more space left. I gotta go dump my loot back at home. And then I'll wipe the freaking floors with them.
You might think that the subterranean vault
I am so... It makes my heart, like, you know, it heals my heart just to see Fallout getting the love it deserves again. It's like Fallout just got reborn because of this show. Shout out to the people who made the show. You actually... You could have been the ones that set Fallout on its feet again.
They're social experiments sponsored by the government and Vault-Tec to see how people react to different situations in a controlled environment. And let me tell you, these experiments extremely f***ed up.
Vault-Tec destroyed my life. Vault-Tec can burn for all I care.
Here are the 10 worst Fallout vaults in order of increasing f***ed upness, and all of them so bad we'd rather take our chances in the wasteland. Enjoy! Vault 114, visited in Fallout 4, was created to house Boston's social elite in the case of atomic war. Its residents were promised luxury accommodation where they would mingle with only the cream of Massachusetts society. But as you can see, the accommodation is the opposite of luxurious. In fact, Vault 114 was designed to be as cramped and uncomfortable as possible, with whole families crammed into single rooms, shared bathrooms, and minimal comforts to test how these previously financially advantaged folks would cope with what Vault-Tec describes as stressful situations. The final Vault-Tec flourish was the appointment of the Overseer, who was a crazy person named Soup Can Harry.
Mr. Soup Can, would you mind telling me why you're distrustful of the government?
I've seen what they do. Gum up the works with red tape and bureaucracy, take every hard-earned cent and use it to fund their Illuminati, Freemason sex parties.
Yes, put him in charge.
Illuminati, Freemason sex parties. It's the best quote I've heard all day.
I ain't wearing no goddamn tie. Or pants.
Sadly, we don't know how the reign of Soup Can Harry would have panned out because Vault 114 was unfinished and we don't know if any residents actually made it inside before the bombs dropped. Still, Harry seems to be basically unkillable, so he probably did okay.
I seen the back of them Raxo boxes. Not for consumption. Don't you tell me what to do. I'll eat what I want.
Man, good luck if you're put into Vault 108, where the experiment seems to have been, let's see how much ridiculous shit people can put up with until they die. Officially, the premise of Vault 108, seen here in Fallout 3, was to observe conflict for leadership and power. The Vault's Overseer was intentionally chosen to be someone likely to die soon after the Vault was sealed, the main power supply was scheduled to break 20 years into the experiment, and the backup power supply was designed to not work properly. Also, the Vault was stocked with 3 times the usual amount of guns, and no entertainment at all. You can see what they were going for here. What the Vault-Tec brainiacs surely didn't predict was the actual outcome, in which a Vault resident named Gary used to clone himself a bunch of times. These Gary clones else, so Vault 108 is populated by all screaming Gary at the top of their lungs.
Gary!
Unexpected result there. I guess the Vault experiments were worthwhile after all. Nobel Prizes all round.
Vault Experiment 69. 69 gamers are put into a vault. And they all have to deal with stick drift, lag, no less than 200 milliseconds. And worst of all, they're playing on a PS4 or an Xbox One, not an Xbox Series S, or like I'm like not just that, but like an old one. Yeah, you know exactly. I'm talking about. By the way, the person who voices this character right now voices Aloy from Horizon Zero Dawn and Tiny Tina from Borderlands 2. I'm not joking. Look it up. It is actually pretty interesting. And not only does she have a legendary voice actor, she's also one of the best guns in the game. The freaking spray and pray. But I've never really used this because I am not an explosive person. Or not, I'm not an automatic person. Vault 19's selling division.
Vault 19 in the Mojave Wasteland in Fallout New Vegas was part of a Vault-Tec experiment to see if the Vault Dwellers themselves could do all the hard work required to drive everyone crazy. This was achieved by selecting subjects who were already paranoid, then segregating them into two completely arbitrary groups, red and blue, then limiting contact between the groups. The first time a pipe bursts in the blue sector, it was naturally blamed on the reds, and so begins the descent into intra-Vault conflict, as evidenced by the wild, paranoid ramblings you find all over the place.
Some of the computers still work, but the only files are diaries and garbage. Typical Vault.
The fate of Vault 19's inhabitants is unknown, but we're guessing it was less that they overcame their differences and all lived happily ever after, and more, they all killed each other. Another scientific success for Vault-Tec. Vault 81 from Fallout 4 was designed to help scientists develop a universal cure for all diseases. Obviously, Vault-Tec wanted to do this in as dickish a way as possible, so they built two Vault 81s, one for scientists and one for regular people that the scientists could infect with diseases and watch 24/7 through two-way mirrors.
Oh, real nice, Holt. Make this about you. Don't you think about anyone other than yourself?
Luckily for the residents of Vault 81, their overseer wasn't what you'd call Vault-Tec material, in that she had a conscience. When the vault was due to be sealed, she sabotaged the phone list so that hardly any of the scientists made it into the vault before it closed, and the 3 scientists who did make it in were cut off from the residents and trapped for good on the science side of the Vault Divide. So Vault 81 turned out pretty well in the end, no thanks to Vault-Tec. Unless you were one of the scientists, I guess, although they did create a French doctor robot over there, and she finally succeeded in creating the universal cure they were after. So, mission accomplished.
I am pleased to report I completed my primary duties 83 years ago.
I'm sure these scientists' graves are very proud. The official line on Vault 92 from Fallout 3 is that it was constructed to preserve humanity's greatest musicians.
They claimed the vault would be dedicated to preserving musical talent.
Someone at Vault-Tec clearly thought that sounded much too boring and humane, so instead they decided to use it to test out the feasibility of using white noise generators to implant subliminal messages with the aim of creating an army of hyper-aggressive super soldiers, who are also really good at violin. Except, and you can probably start to spot the pattern here, the constant white noise caused people to go gradually insane.
Disaster today. One of our test subjects, B920717, was murdered. 3 other residents in a fit of unbridled rage, the likes of which I've never seen.
Over half the Vault's population eventually became violently unstable murderers, and violently unstably murdered the other half. Who needs new music anyway? We've got Galaxy News Radio, am I right?
Please read out! How you kids handling Apocalyptia today?
ShopDeepDiscount.com for pop culture treasures like this.
Missiles incoming if you will there. Get up.
Vault 106.
It's weirdly impressive that Vault-Tec scientists got as far as Vault 106 before they got bored of cooking up creative ways to send everyone insane and just raided the Vault-Tec stationery cupboard for psychoactive drugs. After the vault was sealed, Vault 106 dwellers got 10 glorious days of precious sanity before the aforementioned psychoactive drugs were pumped in via the air filtration system. Some of the residents relaxed into a calm, hallucinatory state, but others went violently hat-stand, and as the old saying goes, it only takes one bad apple to murder everyone with a pool cue.
Hey!
If you venture into Vault 106 yourself in Fallout 3, you'll start to suffer the effects yourself, seeing hallucinations of Vault 101 residents as you fend off the insane survivors that roam the halls. Although that does introduce the possibility that the rest of the game after this point is one long drug-induced hallucination. Still, free science bobblehead. Worth it. Speaking of drugs, Vault 95 from Fallout 4 is also drug-themed, but crueler, if you can imagine such a thing. At first glance, its goals appear to be noble. The concept was to help rehabilitate drug addicts. Locked in the vault, away from chems, and participating in group therapy,
no.
the best chance of kicking their habit.
That's cute. You think you're gonna get an actual humane vault? No, don't think. Nope, nuh-uh. You can actually take Kate there.
To begin with. Is this finally a bit of philanthropy from Vault-Tec? Are they helping some sick people with... One of the residents of the vault was actually a Vault-Tec sleeper agent who, after 5 years had passed, would open up a secret room full of drugs for all the recovering drug addicts to discover. He was then to document his findings, although the fact that there is only one entry in his diary and the fact that everyone is dead in a big pile of drugs kind of shows you how that one turned out. The aim of Vault 12, explored in the original Fallout, was to study the effects of radiation on a sample population. This scientific objective was achieved by the high-tech method of having a shoddy door that didn't close properly.
Oh, that one.
The result was that everyone in Vault 12 died of radiation poisoning or turned into an insane radioactive ghoul.
There better be a killer reason for standing in my shadow. Does next on the menu ring a bell for ya, Normie?
Hey, Vault-Tec, the effects of radiation on humans were scientifically well understood already, even in the 1950s, let alone the 2070s. Probably didn't need to irradiate over 500 people to see what would happen.
Vault 112. Oh yeah, right, that guy who basically tortures people in the simulation.
Discover the residents are all trapped inside.
Dude, that is something like the classic Discord mod would do. I'm gonna torture people in a simulation.
Yay, you did it! Good job!
Well, they already do that.
Clever approach. I'm not sure I would have considered it. Very encouraging.
Or Betty, I guess. Anyway, the Tranquility Lane simulation exists so that Braun can torture the inhabitants to keep himself amused in this post-television world. That's something he'd very much enjoy your help with. If you go along with Braun's scheme, he'll ask you to make kids cry, break up marriages, and kill housewives in as creative a manner as possible.
Dude, what a dick.
Yikes. After that, subtlety pretty much goes out the window, and it's on with the clown mask and out with the butcher knife as you become the pint-sized slasher and carve up everyone in town for Braun's.
You can also do a Chinese invasion.
Or if you'd rather not go along with the torture-obsessed evil murder doctor, you can activate a failsafe program inside Tranquility Lane's abandoned house, which spawns an invading Chinese army into the street, who will swiftly and efficiently mow everyone down, killing them in real life, and leaving Braun alone in the simulation with no one to torture.
You've triggered the failsafe! Ruined everything! The subjects will die and I'll be stuck here in this hell, alone!
Okay, now, where's my dad? Oh, he was the dog the whole time. Well, this is awkward. Exactly how many murders did you see me commit, Dad?
It's nice to feel that I'm on two legs again.
Dude, that'd be awesome. That'd be kind of sucky.
At number 1, the worst
The sucky thing is that they all die, all the people die in there, but the awesome thing is that guy is left all alone to basically just sit there for years and decades and centuries on end. Like he has to sit there for centuries on end, alone, and slowly mentally go crazy.
So
who really loses there?
Vault 11. After the door to Vault 11 closed, the inhabitants were told by their overseer that they would have to sacrifice one of their fellow Vault dwellers every year, or everyone in the Vault would die.
Greetings, Murder, and welcome. If you're here now, it means you've been offered up as a sacrifice so that your Vault can continue to thrive.
Thanks for that, Overseer. Guess who was the first sacrifice? After this communal sacrifice, whoever held the position of Overseer was always the one chosen to die, and so elections for Overseer became ruthless, cutthroat affairs, which eventually led to blackmail, murder, and finally civil war that killed all but 5 inhabitants of the Vault. With all the vicious irony of a saw trap, it transpires that the Vault 11 program was actually to test morality against self-preservation. All the Vault dwellers needed to do was refuse to sacrifice anyone in the first place, and the whole deadly experiment would be over. Dick move, Vault-Tec.
Congratulations, citizens of Vault 11. You have made the decision not to sacrifice one of your own. You can walk with your head held high, knowing that your commitment to human life is a shining example to us.
That is a douchebag move. Hello. So you've been killing yourself for the next 200 years. Congratulations. You didn't kill yourself this time. Now you win the experiment. You get nothing. Vault-Tec being Vault-Tec.
Come and go at your leisure.
Still, at least 5 people survived unharmed and uncrazy, so partial success? No.
Ready, Harry? Yeah. No, wait!
Those were the Fallout Vaults we'd least like to be locked in come the apocalypse. Which do you fancy least? Let us know in the comments below, and check out the videos on screen right now for more Fallout from outside Xbox. Thanks for watching.
These are Bessie's. They also
make these fantastic waterproof shoes. Not water resistant, or not water resistant.
Oh, new Lord in the
They are
top.
knit waterproof. They use a technology called Dynatex. It's a dual climate knit.
Holy shit, how many legendary knights are there?
They are 100%.
Hold up a second.
Yeah, it's Victorium. None of you are realizing that I'm BOS? Why are you shooting it? Okay, you weirdos, weirdos. Why the Minutemen are the best hope for the Commonwealth?
This video contains
I'll tell you, I like the Minutemen. The Minutemen are my favorite
trying to avoid spoilers.
because the Institute's a boogeyman. The BOS are just xenophobic everywhere. Like they literally don't give a shit, and plus they're hoarding technology, but like they're not helping anybody else. But it's like the Minutemen actually want to give back. You know what I mean? Minutemen are just chill. They're the weakest faction, but they are chill.
About the history of
Oyster Bar.
It's not a video about
Gross.
past generals, its colorful characters. No, this is a video about why I think
Dude,
women are without a doubt
my
the
stupid
best
ass
hope for
drift
humanity
is so
in the
bad.
Commonwealth. Better than the Institute, better than the Brotherhood of Steel, and better than the Railroad. But I can't go far into this topic without admitting that the Minutemen is the weakest faction.
Oh no, they're
They have the
pathetic.
worst.
I'm not gonna lie, they are pathetic when you
They
start.
have a history of failure. Their ranks were filled with traitors. They don't have an underground base. They don't have a flying fortress. They don't use power armor. They don't have warrior robots.
Hey, bitch. Oh shit. Oh, we got him. It's easy. We just gotta literally... And, yep, he's dead. Oh, he's gone. I could have killed him earlier, but I just like to kill... I like to overpower him, because I want to feel pride. You think we got him good?
They are the weakest faction in the game. But despite these flaws, the Minutemen are clearly the best hope for humanity. The Minutemen are the weakest faction in the game because they are the only faction in the game that is in constant, active war with every enemy imaginable. Preston Garvey tells us that the reason he was originally attracted to the Minutemen is because they would come to the aid of everyday civilians at a minute's notice.
Protect the people at a minute's notice. That was the idea. So I joined up, wanted to make a difference. And I did, but things fell apart.
They didn't require money, food, shelter. They didn't demand loyalty. They just came. The Minutemen first came to prominence by being the only ones to defend Diamond City from a horde of super mutants. That was one of their great victories. But it is an astounding thing to be able to say that you can be anywhere, to defend anyone from any enemy at a minute's notice. How many settlements are there? How many homesteads, farms, cities? In Boston alone, how many places do the Minutemen have to defend at the drop of a hat whenever there is danger? It boggles the mind. This makes the Minutemen a more visible target than any other faction. It puts the Minutemen in a state of constant warfare. The Minutemen have had to face greater opposition than any other faction in the game. Every faction keeps mostly to themselves. They have their own little pet causes. The Institute hides in its underground bunker. It only comes topside when it needs things. The Brotherhood of Steel are safe and secure in their flying fortress. They only leave to make tactical strikes, to engage in battles when they choose and where they want to engage in battles that they know they'll win. And the railroad is invisible. And none of these factions defend caravanners, settlers, traders from raiders and gunners and super mutants and monsters and synths. Those are all battles that those factions never have to fight, but the Minutemen fight them. This spreads the Minutemen thin, and one can rightly argue that perhaps the task is just unreasonable. Perhaps the Minutemen are weak, perhaps they are failures, because they're trying to do something that is impossible to do in this post-apocalyptic world. Maybe Father is right when he says that the world has changed and that there's no
stupid ass remote
left.
None have any true claim to nobility in this world. Those days are gone.
And maybe the Minutemen are just fools, clinging to some ancient ideal, idolizing long-dead heroes, living in a fantasy world, trying to resurrect a past that could never exist again. Maybe all of that is true. But that doesn't change the fact that the Minutemen have had to fight fights that no one else has fought. The Minutemen has faced enemies that no one else has faced. And for those reasons, the Minutemen have had more opportunities to fail than any other faction. It's much easier to find victory once than it is to find victory once, and then again, and then again, and then again. I can't argue the fact that when you find the Minutemen in the game, that they are the weakest faction in the game. I believe this is because they have had to fight insurmountable odds that no other faction has ever had to fight. They spread themselves too thin. I also believe it's because they were betrayed. The reason the Minutemen lost Quincy was partially due to the fact that too few Minutemen showed up to defend it, but it was also because they got betrayed.
Have you heard of the Quincy Massacre, where the Minutemen betrayed each other and the people they were supposed to protect? A mercenary group called the Gunners was attacking Quincy. The people there called for the Minutemen to help. We were the only ones that came. The other groups, they just turned their backs on us and the folks in Quincy.
Clint.
My man Ezra, lying without an end so that he could order himself a...
Clint
betrayed the Minutemen and allowed the Gunners to invade Quincy. That betrayal came because Clint was disillusioned with the Minutemen, and he was disillusioned with the Minutemen due to the infighting and bickering that had become normal in the Minutemen. And this bickering and infighting came about because General Becker died. General Becker was one of the last good generals of the Minutemen. He was a strong personality. He was a good leader. He was a visionary. Preston Garvey speaks well of him.
I'm sure there was a lot I didn't see or know enough to pay attention to. You know, the politics and rivalries and bad blood between the different groups. I guess General Becker was able to keep a lid on it, keep everyone more or less on the same team. But after he was killed, it all came out in the open. I couldn't believe it at first. These guys were supposed to be Minutemen. They were supposed to put their duty to the people ahead of everything else.
Ronnie Shaw speaks highly of him.
I'm Ronnie Shaw, Commonwealth Minuteman. At least I was. Back before Joe Becker got himself killed and the agents took over.
Joe Becker? Who's that?
General Becker used to run the Minutemen. The last real leader we ever had. After he died, there wasn't anybody left with the guts and brains to pull things together.
But when he died, the Minutemen devolved into chaos and infighting. They had become dependent upon a strong leader. When that leader was gone, the faction crumbled. That is legitimately a weakness of the Minutemen. But it's a weakness of every faction. The Brotherhood of Steel is as powerful as it is because Maxson is a charismatic personality. He won over the West...
I'm all for one course from the world, but the conventional wisdom is that you run from them rather...
Sure.
So why did...
Uh-huh. That's my business. I just need the code off this course.
You have one of their chips? Follow me. Decoding a Corsair chip is a very delicate operation. A million things can go wrong, the least of which is losing the data. Fortunately, we have the right man for the job.
Would it kill them to let me know mission specs before the dead drop? Just once.
Hey, there. You need something?
Tom, we got a Corsair chip.
Oh, for real? Oh man, it's been ages.
You got what it takes to go far with us. I can tell.
Hey, I got everything you field agent types need. Even a few Tinker Tom specialities.
Show me what you got.
Hand over the chip. Let's see what's on it.
I'm not sure I want to do this.
When you're ready, let us know.
Desdemona.
Ready to hand over that chip, Agent?
Here you go.
All right. Tom, make it.
What's a chip? Let's have the circuit analyzer take a crack at
The world's a dangerous place.
I'm very busy. Unless...
Any news out there, Doctor?
Nothing that would interest...
Yeah. See what's wrong with
Go open.
Sure. Just heard all...
Huh?
encryption algorithms. All right.
And that's that. Anything else bothering?
They've added more decimals to the last cipher. This is gonna be... Come on, baby. Show me that pattern. Where is it? Wait. They're using the same logarithmic function as the key generator. Oh, man, we got lucky. Got you, you Institute bastard. I got you. Solve for you. Come on. Show me that sweet base. There, we got it. We got the code. Let me load that onto the holotape for ya.
Good work, Tom.
Yeah, but I'm not sure our luck will hold up.
And Agent?
Use it back. How much back
Elders, through his youth and his vigor and his feats of strength defeating a Deathclaw, his fame preceded him, and the West Coast Elders appointed him Elder of the East Coast chapter of the Brotherhood of Steel. Before he was appointed, the Brotherhood was weak. Dance describes the Brotherhood as cowering in the Citadel in the Capital Wastelands after the death of Elder Lyons.
A decade ago, the Brotherhood had almost gone completely astray. The Elder before Maxson sent us down a path that was leading nowhere. He was more concerned about charity than the preservation of technology. But when Maxson took over, he single-handedly reprioritized the Brotherhood from the ground up and put us back on the path to glory. This ship and its crew are a testament to his leadership.
The Brotherhood suffered through the death of Elder Lyons and then the death of his daughter, Sarah Lyons. And it was only through the appointment of Arthur Maxson that they regained their soul, that they welcomed the outcasts back into the fold, that they became strong again. What would happen to the Brotherhood if Arthur Maxson died? Who would take his place? What infighting might occur? The Institute appears to be a little bit more stable than the Brotherhood. They have a plan in place for when a director dies. But the problem with the Institute is that the director is also a great personality. When you meet Father in the Institute, it's Father's way or the highway. Yes, he will sit down to a directorate meeting, but even if every member of the directorate disagrees with what Father wants, he will still get his way. We learned this when he replacement.
The Institute cannot survive without leadership. The Directorate must continue to govern with the best interest of all in mind. To that end, I am naming my mother as my successor.
No, boy. You can't be serious.
Everybody does not like it.
Possibly justify this. She isn't one of us. She isn't even a scientist.
Ignoring your borderline insubordinate tone, I will simply say this. The Institute has enough scientists. What it needs is a leader.
Nobody voted for you to become the next director of the Institute.
Dude, why is it drifting?
Who's to say that someday someone will appoint a director that none of the other scientists have faith in? Who's to say that that won't lead to political strife within the Institute? That won't lead to infighting? Yes, the Minutemen are weak when you find them, and yes, they depended upon a strong personality like General Becker, but I don't think that there's a faction in the game that doesn't have those exact same problems. The only reason the Brotherhood exists is because they have a successful leader, and it's the same with the Institute. They have had a series of successful leaders. All of the factions in the game depend upon strong personalities to inspire and to bring their faction together. Preston Garvey correctly diagnosed the problem with the Minutemen when he told you that the Minutemen needed a leader.
The Minutemen fell apart because our leaders forgot what we were supposed to stand for. Our last leader was General Becker. After he died back in '82, nobody could agree on who should take his place.
Why can't you lead the Minutemen?
That's not who I am. I'm not about to give up. But I can't protect the Commonwealth all by myself. Hell, I could barely protect these people. That's why I'm talking to you. I can't rebuild the Minutemen, but I think you can. We need someone who can bring the whole Commonwealth together in a common cause. And I think you've got it in you to be that leader.
To his credit, he knew that he was not the man for the job. He's not leadership material, not charismatic, like a leader needs to be. But he saw leadership in you, and that's why he made you the general. He maybe naively put all of his hopes about the Minutemen into you, but this just gives you the opportunity to be the great leader that the Minutemen need. Now, ideally, if I had my druthers, important factions like the Minutemen would not depend so much on big personalities, on powerful leaders. I am uncomfortable with the idea of an all-powerful general wielding so much control over so many people. That part of the way the Minutemen are structured does make me uncomfortable. I don't like that. I would much prefer something like a Commonwealth Provisional Government, the one that settlers tried to make on their own before it was destroyed by the Institute.
Years back, a group of settlements tried to get together and
You're
form
kidding.
a coalition.
Wonder what that would have looked like.
Every settlement with even a hint of clout sent representatives to try and hash out an agreement. Only the Institute sent a representative of their own, a synth. The man killed every rep at the talks. The Commonwealth Provisional Government was over before it even got off the ground.
I see a day where the Minutemen are not a governing body, where they don't simultaneously defend people like a military or a police force should, and build houses, plant crops, manage finances. I see a day where a government of the people springs up alongside the Minutemen, where the Minutemen will act as defenders of that government and defenders of those people instead of doing the directing themselves. I admit that that is not in the game as we find it, but I have hope that if the Minutemen can successfully defend the Commonwealth for long enough, that settlements will get larger, relationships will be made, and that a new CPG will appear to take on that role. But right now I'm comparing the Minutemen to a hypothetical. What about what we actually find in the game? Well, there are no other factions that give governing control of their own lives back to the people. Every faction has either a charismatic leader who makes ultimate decisions about what goes on in the Commonwealth, or just doesn't care about the Commonwealth at all. The bag of apples that we have to choose from is imperfect, but I think that the Minutemen are clearly the reddest of the bunch. The nature of the Minutemen is so completely different from that of every other faction that it's really hard to compare them honestly. All of the other factions are really good at fighting for their causes. The Brotherhood of Steel is excellent at killing super mutants and synths. The Institute, they are amazing at pursuing science. And the Railroad, they can rescue synths like it's nobody's business. But none of them are good at saving people. None of them are good at saving cities, at defending freedom. I believe that there's a lot of good in all of the factions of the gang. I think it's good that the Railroad tries to protect sense. I think that the camaraderie and the sense of duty in the Brotherhood of Steel is commendable and admirable. I think the Brotherhood has a lot of genuine people who work as soldiers and scribes, who want to make a living for themselves, who have their own people that they love, and who are genuinely noble individuals. And I think that the Institute is admirable for pursuing science in a world that has been so scarred by science, by trying to use science to better mankind, even if I disagree with their ultimate vision. And I think that the Institute is filled with lots of normal scientists who are curious about life, who love their families and just want to do their research. I think goodness can be found in every faction, but I think that the Minutemen embody the greatest goodness because they are the only faction that's trying to restart civilization.
I think with more people like you, Monsieur Garvey, civilization will rise again.
That's the goal, ma'am.
Every other faction has its own cause, but the Minutemen are different. The Minutemen fight for other people's causes. They fight for the freedom of a farmer to wake up the next morning and tend to his own crops. They fight for the freedom of Bunker Hill to be able to conduct trade without being threatened by raiders. They fight for the freedom of the Slug to not have to pay dues to the Nuka World raiders. Those aren't their own causes. No Minuteman is personally benefiting by any of that happening. And yet they go out there and they fight because they realize that helping each other is the only way to restore civilization. Raiders look out for themselves. And that's a short-term, short-sighted, short-lived worldview. But when the Minutemen look out for others, the Minutemen grow. Every time the Minutemen successfully defend a settlement, their fame spreads.
Preston Garvey, right? You guys are the best. Keep fighting the good fight, okay?
Thanks. It's good to know.
Man, it's always awesome hearing people like just
You're one of the good
love on
guys.
Minutemen.
Don't forget it. This is for you. It's nothing much, but I hope it'll help the cause.
More settlements become attracted to the Minutemen and join the Minutemen. The Minutemen become more powerful. The reach of the Minutemen becomes longer, doing whatever it takes to survive, despite the moral or ethical consequences, is what raiders do, and raiders die. Working with other people and helping other people to defend their liberty so that they'll defend yours brings more people together, which brings more resources together, which brings more strength together. And remember that the Minutemen are made up of citizens.
Can you explain what the Minutemen are all about?
We're citizen soldiers. The people of the Commonwealth banding together to protect ourselves and decide our own future.
They're a militia. The people who fight for the Minutemen are not career soldiers. They're not trained assassins. They're farmers and traders who are simply trying to defend their own property, their own liberty, and the liberty of their neighbors. From the very beginning, associating with the Minutemen has always been optional. When the sole survivor first comes to the aid of a settlement, the settlers are shocked. They didn't think the Minutemen existed anymore.
You're with the Minutemen? I didn't really think you fellas still existed. We sent word with one of them passing traders, but honestly, I never expected anything to come of it. Most people don't put much stock in the Minutemen these days after Quincy. Bad business, that.
We're rebuilding the Minutemen from the ground up. We're the good guys again.
Glad to hear it. No question that things have been worse since the Minutemen fell to pieces.
Will you be willing to join the Minutemen once I've dealt with those raiders?
Well, we'll certainly give it a good long think. People have gotten used to not being able to count on you folks. That's not going to change overnight.
Well, when the sole survivor returns, having defended the settlement, that settlement then makes a choice. Do I join the Minutemen or do I not? Some settlements choose to join the Minutemen.
Find those raiders?
They're history. Now, what do you say about joining the Minutemen? Helping others when they need it.
You helped us, so it'd be pretty ungrateful of us to turn our backs on other folks. If we want things to get better, we've got to start helping each other. So, we're in. You can count on us if you need help down the line. Thanks again, friend.
Others, like Bunker Hill, choose not to.
It's the Minutemen who helped you. If you support us, we can help even more.
Yeah, right. The Minutemen abandoned our sorry asses long ago. A lot of people's kin died because of that. Listen, you did us a good turn, but it would take a hell of a lot more for me to want to deal with the Minutemen.
The Minutemen are under new management. Me. You can trust us now.
Really? That's almost tempting. But except for the occasional hiccup, we're looking out for ourselves just fine. Pass.
But none of them are coerced. None of them are forced. This makes association with the Minutemen completely optional. This is the exact opposite of how the Brotherhood views the Commonwealth. The Brotherhood views the Commonwealth in a they're either for us or against us sort of worldview. That's why the Brotherhood feels justified by going to farms and demanding food.
I hear there's another farm just waiting for you to pay it a visit. What's the mission again? Informing the Commonwealth farms of their upcoming support for the Brotherhood of Steel. I'm in. Perfect. I'll mark the farm on your map. Remember, guaranteed cooperation.
What are you doing here?
The Brotherhood needs your help to protect the Commonwealth. Donate a portion of your crops to the Brotherhood, and it will not be forgotten.
I'm afraid we can't spare the food.
The Brotherhood of Steel demands your tribute, citizen. You will hand over a portion of your crops to the Brotherhood.
We'll do it.
That's
Just
a
leave us
That's
in
a dick
peace
move.
until then.
How'd it go? It was successful, I bet.
Yes, sir. The crops will be available when harvested.
Couldn't have done a better job myself. Here, your caps. Just as we agreed. If you got the time, I got a few more farms for you to hit. If these farmers realize what we did for them on a daily basis, they'd be lining up to help.
They feel like their very presence is somehow defending settlers and their farms, but this is help that these people never asked for. Being defended by the Brotherhood is not optional, it's mandatory. But being defended by the Minutemen is optional. I've been puzzled by some comments from people who have said strange things like the Minutemen are communists or socialists. And I like to leave real-world politics out of these videos because I believe those kinds of words and labels bring with them a lot of baggage that doesn't apply in this fictional post-apocalyptic world. But the charges are also false. The Minutemen encourage free trade. Free trade is the offspring of liberty. When a settlement joins the Minutemen, they don't pool all of their resources, give up their private property, and give it to the state. The state doesn't then dole it out as they see fit, to each according to his needs. No, when a settlement joins the Minutemen, they simply send soldiers when a place needs defending. But they're free to run their farms. Yes, the general of the Minutemen builds those settlements, but citizens consume the food they produce. They don't ask for permission first. They don't have to buy it from you. They only share with other settlements when they have excess food. If you place shops in your settlements, you don't get those items for free. No, those settlers man a stall, and they sell you what they have. Those belongings are theirs, and you have the freedom, even if you are the general, to purchase them. Settlers are still free to live their own lives, and they can disassociate with the Minutemen at any time. If your settlement happiness gets too low, a settlement can abandon you. They can leave the Minutemen. This is in stark contrast to the Brotherhood of Steel and the Institute. Both of those factions see settlers as resources to exploit. They don't see them as free people who deserve individual liberty. The Minutemen are also the only faction that values human life just because it's alive. The Brotherhood values settlers, but only in as much as those settlers aid the Brotherhood. The Institute values those settlers only in as much as those settlers can aid their scientific research. The Railroad will value people, but really only if those people help synths. The Minutemen value people just because. There's no caveat, there's no asterisk, there's no qualifier, they just value people. When you destroy the Institute with either the Brotherhood of Steel, the Railroad, or the Minutemen is the only faction that obsesses over saving the lives of civilians. Yes,
yeah, they're like, oh yeah, did you issue the alarm?
You side with any faction, but the Brotherhood never asks you to, and they don't say anything if you fail to do so. After you blow up the Institute with the Minutemen, Preston Garvey urgently questions you.
The Institute is destroyed. It's finally over. You did issue the evacuation order, right? I didn't notice in all the chaos.
No. We were there to destroy the Institute, not help them escape.
My God. So we just killed everyone? This is gonna be a black mark on the Minutemen forever. As glad as I am that the Institute is gone, this wasn't the plan. Damn it, General. You dragged us down to their level. It didn't have to be this way.
Do you see how crushed he is? He's
Not
like
kidding.
this for the rest of the game. He's right when he says that that's not what the Minutemen are about. The Minutemen did not invade the Institute to perform mass murder. The Minutemen care about people. The only reason they were there was because the Institute was a threat to the personal freedom and liberty of regular people. The Institute left the Minutemen with only one option. The Institute forced the Minutemen to remove the Institute from the world, just to keep the Institute from kidnapping and murdering more people. It is not the goal of the Minutemen to engage in mass murder by blowing up the Prydwen, but they are forced to because the Brotherhood has declared war on them.
Brotherhood was a threat to the Commonwealth. They needed to be destroyed.
I can't argue with that. They didn't care one bit about the people of the Commonwealth, no matter what Maxon said.
I had one viewer leave a comment on a video that stuck out to me, not because it was unique, but because I've been getting a comment like that frequently. On many of my videos where I talk about the Minutemen, I'll get someone echoing this same sentiment. Let me just quote this comment word for word. Quote, "I hate that even though I single-handedly brought back the Minutemen, and I am called the General, that I still have to live alone, or that I'll have other people boss me around. And if I accidentally blast someone's head off, those people attack me. As General, I should tell them to go defend a settlement, and they should deliver caps.
Dude, what is up with this spot?
For I am the General." This has been a major complaint with the Minutemen from many people who have played the game, and I think that this betrays a lack of understanding about what the Minutemen are all about. Let's pretend, for a brief moment,
This is the hobbyist club, yeah.
Fallout 4 is real, and you're a general, and you go into another town, and you blast
Radiation.
someone's head off. Should you not suffer consequences for that? Would the world be better if you got away with that? Even if you had done a ton of good, if you suddenly go on a murderous rampage, why wouldn't settlers defend themselves? And why wouldn't they start attacking you? Additionally, being General of the Minutemen is not being a king, an emperor, a dictator.
You don't get a pass just because everybody calls you General. In the Minutemen, you gotta earn respect.
The Minutemen serve the citizens of the Commonwealth. They don't do it to make money, so no one should be delivering caps to you. They don't do it to make slaves of the Commonwealth, so no one should be serving you. If we decide to take on the mantle of General of the Minutemen who are supposed to aid a settlement at any moment, how can we then complain when people ask us for help? When Preston sends us to a settlement because that settlement is
There are
active
so many
under
traps.
attack. We've agreed to this. We've said, yes, I will be the General. I will defend people. The Minutemen are very different.
Okay, hold on. Check this out.
Welcome to the Greater Massachusetts Electrical Hobbyists Association. Nobody's here right now, so please leave a message.
Yeah, I'd like a cheeseburger and a vanilla shake, please. Oh, and some fries, too. Huh?
By the way, there's a holotape that plays your recording apparently, but it's you can't get to it. You have to clip out of the game. There's a basement somewhere. Ooh.
From raiders. A comment like that would make sense if you were a raider overboss. Bring the civilians to me, have them serve me. Put the citizens out into the fields, make them farm for me. Set up a tribute chest, have the settlers offer tribute. That's what a raider boss does. That's not what a general of the Minutemen does. One is self-serving, and the other is noble.
I didn't do it for money.
Hey, sorry. I'm used to everyone being in it only for themselves. You know, you remind me of my friends. The other Minutemen. The ones who gave their lives for something bigger than themselves. You should go.
For all of these reasons, I think the Minutemen are good. But I haven't yet explained why I think that they're humanity's best hope. Because you could be very good, but still weak. You could have the noblest of intentions, but still be unable to defend people or to fulfill your goals. So I really have to defend my statement. If I think that the Minutemen are the best hope for humanity, I have to be able to back that up. Them being good and moral isn't good enough. They have to be able to put their good intentions into action. I believe they can, and here's why. When you're playing Fallout 4, you're not playing one character. You're playing two.
Heads up.
Your first character is the sole survivor. The second character is the Minuteman. If you were to take the sole survivor at level 1 to Fort Hagen and to confront Kellogg, would you win? No. Of course not. You'd be slaughtered. If you were to take the sole survivor to Swan's Pond to confront Swan at level 1, would you win? Of course not. That's ridiculous. But does that mean that the sole survivor is weak? Because you can't kill Kellogg or Swan at level 1, does that make the sole survivor the weakest person in the Commonwealth? Of course not. It only means that the player hasn't put enough time or energy.
You see that?
Maybe you figured out something a long time ago and I'm just learning it now. It just wasn't fair, Coral. Not for this kid. Yeah. Sure thing, kiddo. I'm hungry too. And there's nothing for us here. Let's go. Coral, it's me. I know you're in there, so just open up. The boys saw you up here yesterday. Look, they ain't gonna wait, and I ain't gonna wait. We leave in the morning, so just finish playing Hermit and have your ass at camp by sunup. What in the hell's wrong with you? You don't get to vanish like this. I don't care how many booby traps you hide behind, Coral. We're still here. He's your kid, not mine. So you better get your shit together and come find us when you're done with this idiocy.
The sole survivor to build that character up until he can become strong enough to defeat Kellogg.
Yeah, you got a good point.
Indeed, given enough time and dedication, the sole survivor can become the strongest creature ever to wade into the Commonwealth. The sole survivor who takes over the Institute. The sole survivor who becomes Sentinel in the Brotherhood of Steel. The sole survivor who becomes the most successful railroad heavy. Who becomes overboss of Nuka World. Is the same sole survivor who almost died to rad roaches when crawling out of Vault 111. When you get your hands on the sole survivor, he or she is the weak. But you can turn the sole survivor into the strongest. When you first get a hold of the Minutemen, they are the weakest faction in the game. But you can build them into the strongest. The day the sole
Just like
survivor
the character,
becomes general,
they evolve
can
with the
Minutemen
character.
take on the Institute? No, of course not. The Minutemen are far too weak. Can you even retake Quincy? Absolutely not. It's just you and Preston. But the great difference between the Minutemen and every other faction in the game is that you can build that faction as if it were a character. When you are General, the Minutemen are level 1. When you take Ten Pines Bluff, guess what? You're level 2. When you take the Sunshine Tidings Co-op, guess what? You're level 3. If the player invests enough time into the Minutemen can become the strongest faction in the game. What if the Minutemen have fortified every settlement in the game, and every settlement is self-sustaining? Every settlement is filled with soldiers who can defend it. Well, then the Minutemen become incredibly difficult to defeat. With the Brotherhood, all you have to do is destroy the Privilege. That's it. They're done. With the Institute, all you have to do is destroy the Institute. They've got one location. Destroy it, they're gone. Same with the Railroad. Invade the church, kill the heavies, and they're gone.
But then when you kill the Minutemen, there's everywhere.
Time and energy into them. They're still around, even if take Somerville Place. You still have 30 settlements there. Or if the Brotherhood attacks Hangman's Alley, you still have 30 settlements there. By working with the people of the Commonwealth and winning settlers over to their side, the Minutemen can become more powerful than any of the other factions. They can become harder to defeat. They can attain greater resources. They can produce their own wealth. And even when looking at in-game mechanics, the Minutemen have better weapons, but only if you invest in the faction. Yes, the Brotherhood gives you the ability to summon a vertibird. That's pretty awesome. But if you destroy the Brotherhood, you get that ability too. As General of the Minutemen, with the Brotherhood destroyed, Sturgis will pilot vertibirds for me. Synth relay grenades are pretty awesome, I have to admit, but they're incredibly expensive.
Like that. Can you imagine that happening more often?
Grenades for free, but all of the rest of them you have to buy. Even as director of the Institute, you don't get them for free. That becomes incredibly expensive to use in everyday battle. But if you invest in the Minutemen and you take every settlement and you build them up and you fortify them, you can summon an entire squadron of Minutemen to aid you in any battle no matter where you are on the map. No other faction can say that. If you place an artillery cannon at every single settlement, you can rain down artillery fire on any location with the exception of some places in the glowing sea. No other faction can do that. At the end of the day, the Minutemen are either the weakest faction in the game or the strongest faction in the game, because the Minutemen are what you make of them. I realize it's a lot of hard work. Siding with any of the other factions is a lot easier. The Brotherhood already exists. You don't need to rebuild them. They have a base, air superiority, plenty of power armor, food, water. They give you a bed. They have ranks, clear leadership. And as soon as you arrive, you've got orders. It's the same with signing with the Institute. You don't become director because you deserve it, not like Father did. Father spent his entire life as a scientist earning his role as director of the Institute.
But director? Why you? I was the most qualified for the position. Obviously. I've lived my life within these walls, dedicated to science like every other member of the Institute. My hard work has paid off.
But you exploit the tender sensibilities of an aging man who got a pang for nostalgia after he found out that he was dying. You walk in as his parent, and without doing a thing to earn it, he makes you director. That's pretty nice, right? Didn't have to invest a lot in that, but the General of the Minutemen is constantly fighting and constantly serving. So I can see why it may not be the most attractive option for many. It takes the most amount of work. But if one puts in the work, then the Minutemen are truly the strongest faction in the game and the absolute best hope for humanity. But, ladies and gentlemen, that is one man's humble opinion, and I know that many of you will disagree, and that's totally fine. I look forward to reading all of your comments. Please leave me a comment in the comment section below. I read all of them, and I use them as inspiration for my future videos. I have done a video on every major faction in the game. I think most of them are evil. But if you're interested in my opinion on the other factions of the game, check out some of my other videos on those topics, and be sure to subscribe to see what I publish tomorrow. I publish a brand new video every single day of the week. And if you'd like to chat about this topic on the Oxhorn Community Discord server, be sure to click on the invitation link in the description below. And if you like what I do and you want to support
Minutemen cartography by Red King. This looks pretty interesting.
Welcome, Adam's children. Today is a great day because I have received the latest maps and reports from the cartographer, who has been busy at work. Previously, we braved the Gunners and their bases, but this is the first time that we have gathered intel on one of the Commonwealth factions. While the cartographer was recovering from his journeys, I took the liberty to do a little upgrade, and now he is at least 100% more pious than before. Glory to Atom. Glory to Atom indeed, brother. Now on to the maps of the Minutemen. Glory to Atom. Yes, so let's take a look at the Glory to Atom. Let's get to the glory. Are you gonna do that every time? As I was saying, let's look at the once powerful Minutemen, recently brought low, but with some luck can turn things around and transform the Commonwealth. Crank up the rads and utter a glory to Atom as we check out the Minutemen cartography. Alright, how do I undo an update? Usually the first map that I show is the current state of the group of interest, in this case the Minutemen, but as of the beginning of the game in 2287, well, the Minutemen map looks like this. Yeah, nothing. They have no real holdings and only get this honorary circle because the last Minutemen in the Commonwealth are holed up in Concord, fighting a bunch of raiders for their lives. However, the Minutemen are different from any other group in the game. Their organization is intrinsically tied to settlements and settlers. Without the cooperation of settlements and a goal of common defense against raiders, super mutants, gunners, and other groups that will bend settlers to their will, they are nothing. So we will be looking at a lot of settlements and focusing in particular on the settlements that ally themselves with the Minutemen. So in that light, let's take a look at the state of settlements at the beginning of the game in 2287. I had to make a working definition for what is a settlement and what's not. Although it seems pretty easy to simply define what a settlement is, there are enough edge cases to make things a little messy. I define a settlement as a location with 2 or more individuals, with a workbench, and the potential for expansion and self-sustainability. An exception is made for the largest settlements that don't have a workbench. I think it's pretty obvious that a place like Good Neighbor is indeed a settlement, although we can't access a workbench there. It is interesting to note that there is an entire western portion of the map that is completely devoid of settlements. The empty southwest corner makes sense because that is the glowing sea, and no one but Adam's holy people can survive down there. But there is a whole stretch of land without any settlements. South of Boston also has a large area devoid of any settlements, although we will see soon that that was not always the case. Next, I want to look at the population distribution with this map here. I counted the number of NPCs in a given location, but your numbers may vary a bit game to game, so don't think that these numbers are absolute. Rather than focusing on the exact number of people in a given location, we should look at how they compare relative to each other. As expected, downtown Boston has the most populated settlements, with the settlements of Bunker Hill, Good Neighbor, Diamond City, and Vault 81. Yes, I am classifying Vault 81 as a settlement, containing more people than the rest of the Wasteland settlements combined. Downtown Boston with the major settlements have 3 times more people than all of the outside settlements. It's not really a surprise though that there are more people living in the 4 large settlements than the rest of the Commonwealth, but having 3 times the population, I think, speaks to just how dangerous it is to try and eke out a living away from entrenched and defended large settlements. Now for a rather interesting map that marks all the settlements that are known to have been destroyed, wiped out, or otherwise repopulated sometime before 2287. The lost settlements seem concentrated in the southeast or the northeast, and if we look at where settlements are found in 2287, we see that some of those holes that we spoke of earlier are filled in pretty well by these lost settlements, particularly in the south. Notably, the western portion doesn't have any settlements when the game takes place, and it doesn't seem like there existed any settlements in the past that have been destroyed. What I do find interesting though is looking at this overlay for the enemy level map for the game. Most of the settlements that have been destroyed are in the areas where we find higher level enemies. This actually conforms quite well, with really only one exception, and shows that the average settler just can't withstand the particularly dangerous areas of the Commonwealth. Some of these settlements failed for similar reasons, while others were specifically targeted by outside forces. And some of these failed settlements play a key role in the history of the Minutemen. Let's start with a little outlier here. Taffington Boathouse, which is not far from the super mutants and raiders at Malden to the north. We know that similar to other small settlements in this area, that it was inhabited by a family of 3. The Sutton family had been living at this settlement not that long ago, growing gourds and raising 2 Brahmin that are found slain. Other than a number of traps that can be found, the settlement is not that remarkable, except for the very high number of blood bugs that can be found there. The blood bugs appear to be responsible for the death of the Brahmin, as well as Mary Sutton, whose lifeless body is found at the boathouse. Just north of the boathouse is Margaret Sutton's body, found in a drainage ditch that once again is infested with blood bugs. She is found here because she has been looking for Russell Sutton, who had gone into the drainage looking for a supposed chem stash. Indeed, Russell's body is found inside the drainage, he too having been killed by a bunch of blood bugs. But hey, he found the chems. It seems the search for the stash stirred up a group of blood bugs living in the drainage that killed Russell, also killed Margaret when she got worried about Russell and went looking for him, and then they started to spread as far out as the boathouse, where they attacked and killed Mary and the Brahmin. North of the boathouse is Outpost Zamonja, a settlement that is centered around an old radio broadcast tower. Not much is known of the original settlers, other than that this settlement is rather well developed, but they have since been killed or driven off by the raiders, led by their power-armored leader, Boomer. Boomer is actually relatively well known amongst the raiders of the Commonwealth, as his name can be heard spoken of sometimes, but his ultimate goals are unknown, other than just living the raider life. Break.
Sure, I'd see you again. You managed to get what you need?
Yes. I have the code.
Suppose I shouldn't be surprised. You did get rid of Kellogg after all. Not too much of a leap to take down a Courser. How'd you manage to get it decoded?
The railroad helped me.
Oh God, those kooks. I would have expected they'd be too busy trying to liberate vending machines.
That's good.
They just have something of a reputation. You're not the only one who's been... I did the best I could from memory and came up with some schematics for you. Wasn't easy. These hands are ridiculous. Fine motor skills have gone to shit. Here's the simple explanation. You need to build a device that will hijack the signal the Institute used. You know the craziest part of the design? That classical music station. That's the carrier signal for the relay. All the data's on harmonic frequencies.
Oh, that's why the classic radio.
I want to be clear that this isn't my area of expertise. I was bioscience, not engineering or...
I'm sure it'll work.
For the record, but if you can build this device and make use of that code, you should be able to override the signal from the Institute's wheel. Can you? I mean, can you build it? You have people that can help. This is a lot.
Have I given you reason to doubt me?
No. And don't you forget our agreement. It's my only hope for ever being. Now go on. Take these and get to work. You do whatever it takes. Call on whoever you know to help you.
Protect and serve.
Banks is just north and east of the boathouse, and the settlers here also appear to have been killed not long ago. 2 bodies are found in the bathroom of this small settlement where they had been growing a decent amount of corn. It has since been taken over by super mutants, and several muties can be found here along with their hounds. Not far to the north, across the water, is Lynn Woods, a rather large settlement near a large stone tower. It isn't clear what the settlers did here, if this was a farm, a trading hub, or what, because it's since been ransacked and occupied by raiders. A bonfire burning a bunch of items is found in the middle, and no sign of settlers can be found, so it's not entirely clear how long ago this was a functioning settlement. But the Vault Dweller Survival Guide states that the raiders had taken the settlement, which may explain why they are so underprepared for the death claws that come and attack the settlement if the breaker at the top of the tower is thrown and sounds an alarm. East of Lynn Woods is the old town of Salem, Massachusetts, which is home to a bunch of Mirelurks and an old salty man who has dedicated his life to killing all the Mirelurks. Barney Rook is his name, and he is the only known survivor of the once bustling settlement of Salem. Only a few years ago, Salem was a very prosperous town, and the abandoned storefronts in the middle of the city shows that they were much larger than any other settlement that can or could be found in this part of the Commonwealth. However, they did not adequately prepare their defenses, even though Barney Rook himself insisted that he better train their local militia. Like an Egyptian plague, Mirelurks emerged from the sea and overran the town, killing and driving off everyone but Barney in the process. I find it interesting that Barney mentions the Salem militia, and it leaves us to wonder if this militia was one of the many that made up the Minutemen. Much farther south, just outside the city, is the old area of Fairlight Hill Estates that once again used to be a settlement. The fate of this settlement is
Wow. Now I've got to see the glowing sea from up here. That's the crater. my gosh. That's cool. Takes a while, but it's better than walking.